I didn't think I'd have my first video of the new year be a follow-up to my Hypnotist Sappho video, but life comes at you fast. If you don't know anything about Hypnotist Sappho, congrats! Must be nice. I made a video on them previously, which is linked in the description and in the corner for those of you who want an in-depth dive into their depravity. However, for those of y'all who just want the abridged version of events, here you go. Hypnotist Sappho is a furry YouTuber who makes hypnosis videos, but is known mostly for coming out as a zoophile, which is a person who wants to have sexual relations with animals.
For the record, I am a zoophile.
They got a ton of backlash from both furries and non-furries alike because this is bad. So they later came out and announced that they were starting a zoophile organization to normalize zoophilia.
I am the chairman of the first zoo sexual rights organization in the United States and based in North America.
To top all that off, there were allegations of them grooming minors through Discord messages they sent, doing 18+ shit in public Twitter spaces, and associating with no maps, aka the cutesy version of a pedo. Congratulations, you are now caught up to speed with everything that I knew at the time. Unfortunately, though, more weirdo shit has come out because why stop with zoophilia and grooming allegations? On the 13th of December, Hypnotist Sappho posted on Twitter about how they don't know if they'd consider themselves to be a map, saying that it's not a yes or no kind of thing. I am attracted to some, but minors specifically? No. In fact, my most recent partners were significantly older. I do not know if I would call myself a map. If so, then it's more like layers of an onion than yes or no. I'm mostly just a loving, guiding, nurturing, motherly figure. Real weird thing to say here, Sappho, considering it's not really a gray area kind of thing and is truly just a yes or no question. I mean, anything different would just be begging to be followed up with a worse announcement, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? Well, 4 days later, Hypnotist Sappho came out as a map and specifically states that they're an ephemophile, saying that they're into those in their mid to late adolescence, typically ages 15 to 19. For the sake of simplicity, I will just be referring to them as a pedophile because truly, you get what I mean when I say that. And the only people that make arguments regarding that kind of shit are fucking dweebs. You may notice that I now have the pedo symbol in my usernames and might wonder what that means. Essentially, strictly speaking, I am what would be referred to as a map. I want to clarify that this is rather technical, as I am personally attracted to some people 16 to 18. This is referred to as ephebophilia. I also have a thing for furry artwork that is labeled as cub, which is entirely fictional furry art. So yeah, I know that may make people uncomfortable. I guess thank you aunties and maps for helping me finally accept that. I absolutely adore how they are just constantly thanking those who are just constantly against them being a pedo and, you know, a zoophile. You know, normal insane people. For saying that they're the ones that help them discover who they truly are and all that. The extent that the motto "haters are my motivators" has had on recent events has just led me to the conclusion that the person who came up with that phrase deserves to be hung. It's led us to pedos and zoophiles thinking they're 100% totally fine. I think it's a rightful punishment. And unfortunately, it only gets worse from there, folks, because there has been another alleged message from Sappho leaked from Discord. And it just highlights the absolute fuckery that they're about. Basically stating that, you know the thing that exists called the age of consent? Yeah, that shouldn't exist according to her. Yes, you heard that correctly, your headphones or speakers are not fucked up. Yeah, I think we should abolish consent laws because children can think for themselves anyways. Either way, if consent laws were correct, you shouldn't be able to consent until you're 25 because that's when the brain stops developing. My point is, consent laws are stupid and children can say if they want to have sex or not.
No, I'm not sure about that one. I don't know if that checks out.
That on top of the other message where they say that they groomed a minor is just incredibly shady and just screams that they're a predator trying to take advantage of their younger, vulnerable audience. And the last thing that we're going to be discussing, which is kind of in the same vein, is the ever-baffling Julia situation, which I'm going to be honest is a bit of a mess, so just hang with me here for a second. Julia is a minor that was associated with Sappho and is one of the people that Sappho convinced that zoophilia was totally okay and normal and just peachy. You know, as their goal clearly was. Julia was apparently harassed by people for defending zoophilia and all that, and apparently after being being off social media had unalived themselves. This situation led to Sappho saying the following on Twitter: "I'm going to be attending Julia's funeral. To the people still saying it's fake or my fault somehow, fuck you. I cared about them. They felt motivated, happy, and accepted for the fact that they had people to talk to about their feelings, and then aunties ended up causing their death. But they're going to blame me. How is this not the most reprehensible shit anyone has ever seen? How is this not gaslighting? I am clearly mourning and grieving, and you cunts won't stop. I wish every single one of you a very quick and decisive karma." Basically, Sappho was saying that anti-zoo people are the reason that this minor killed themselves, and that they are absolutely not to blame at all for anything that has happened. Which I really want to be clear for a second, nobody should have harassed Julia regarding any of this stuff. They're a minor that was told by an adult that all of this shit was okay. Minors that are put in this situation need people to tell them no and show them why this is a bad thing, not people just saying, "Das Vidanya, zoophile, go unalive yourself." Truly, it's a heartbreaking situation. This is incredibly sad that a minor ended up killing themselves throughout all of this. Rest in peace, Julia. 10 out of 10 saddest event that ever happened. Now let's get spicy for a second. Everything I just talked about never happened.
This year, I lost my dear husband, Edgar.
Quit telling everyone I'm dead!
Sometimes I can still hear his voice.
And Julia is very much alive and well, and her parents just took her phone away. They were also very notably upset that people were saying that they were dead, so there's that as well. And they've also mentioned blocking Sappho since all this. Now, with Julia being alive and well, Sappho did have some stuff to say, considering that they were going to be tending a non-existent funeral for a non-existent dead child. "If I was misinformed, I will throw a fit because I've cried and drank for days due to that situation. The fact they did not send a message through Telegram makes me suspicious. The account may be compromised. Or the parents lied about what happened to them." Yes, Sappho, because you very clearly got into contact of the parents of a kid you were apparently friends with, and they absolutely lied to you about their kid being dead. Pardon my French for a second, but parents don't fucking lie about shit like that for funsies. The only reason I could conjure up in my tiny, fragile little mind as to why a parent might actually lie about something like this is because they do not want you to have contact with their kid. Which leads me to question why they would even invite you, a grown-ass stranger on the internet, to their kid's funeral. Just given the several honestly unbelievable factors to this shit and, rational thinking, I'm willing to bet this is bullshit and that Sappho's just getting caught in a lie. Now, I know this all sounds absolutely grim, but if you didn't notice from one of the screenshots I shared, Sappho's Twitter account has been suspended, and after trying to find them on TikTok, I couldn't find their user anymore. And given how this was shortly after coming out as a pedo, it's clear that Twitter at least suspended them for their child exploitation policy, specifically for promoting or normalizing sexual attraction to minors as a form of identity or sexual orientation. AKA literally calling herself a map, because that rule is definitely in place for those fucking weirdos. Basically, the zoophile that was ignoring all serious health concerns and consent stuff, that came out as a whole ass fucking pedo, got just yeeted from the fucking Bird app and the children's voiceover app. 10 out of 10, we got him, boys. It's a good ending, right? Well, sorta. They still exist on YouTube despite their past content. We'll get into that in a second, that's a whole other thing. Promoting having sexual relations with animals because YouTube can actually never get rid of people that are harmful for their platform. Despite Sappho's zoophile videos verbatim breaking YouTube's policy on nudity and sexual content, as it states that bestiality or the promotion of bestiality violates the policy. But God forbid that I say fuck within, the first 30 seconds of my video. That's going too far. That's where we gotta draw the line. Now, I said past content for a reason, and that's because if you look at Hypnotist Sappho's channel, those videos that I showed you are not available. The Zeta announcement as well as their zoophile announcement video have been made private, as you can't even find it through a link anymore. Now, this may be because Sappho is tired of all the comments they were getting, because truly, who would support that shit? Or it's because Sappho has been involuntarily hospitalized. This was mentioned on Twitter through zoophile struggle tweets as well as expressed through Sappho themselves when they posted on their community tab. Hey everyone, I know it's been a little while and I've neglected this channel for a while. I've been in a psychiatric hospital for the past week and am likely not leaving until sometime next week, I hope. I'm here for a few different reasons. It's pretty obvious my mental health has declined for months starting in June of 2021. As it turns out, I may have been extremely susceptible to subtle manipulations and intrusive thoughts, and once an idea is in my head, I go 110%. I'm being treated for paranoia, delusions, severe anxiety and depression, and paraphilic disorder. I just finished some intense psychiatric testing and should know about what it indicates soon. I am an omniphile paraphiliac, but am surrounded by much better people now helping me recover and see sense in things. I now have a non-contact stance regarding them now and am strictly relegated to artwork. Anyway, I love you all. I don't mind a little prayer support for me to heal and get better through medical treatment and reducing and shifting the scope of my views. I will be okay. I sincerely apologize for hate and hurt that I have caused. Thank you for reading. Sappho also later posted an update regarding the results of their testing, basically saying that they're at risk for a rope necklace due to many factors such as major depressive disorder, psychotic features, symptoms of paranoia disorder and borderline personality, severe anxiety, and more, saying at the end that they're going to be put into a rapid outpatient program and long-term psychiatric care. They also made a comment on this post more recently saying that this isn't a ploy for pity or manipulation, and they didn't realize that they were as bad as they were, with, the whole being into minors and animals thing, until they were put into inpatient, and that people shouldn't think the worst, and they realized that proving they're changing will take time, but people should be critical of those coming out about them. Now, I want to say that if Sappho is truly getting help for their self-admitted attraction to minors and attraction to animals themselves, which may be the case because they did respond to a now deleted comment saying that they were going to be putting Zeta to rest for now, as well as obviously deleting all videos on the subject matter, which did include the privatization of their feature in Zooier Than Thou, as well as apparently joining a recovery Discord server. That's phenomenal. I'm very happy that you are seemingly getting the help you need. However, I'm not gonna hold my breath as this being a surefire indication that you are actually seriously going to be changing for the better, and that change is happening in general. Especially with this hospitalization being involuntary, as well as clearly the FBI has been made aware of the things that you have done God knows how many times. And specifically a bit in the second community tab post has me a little sketched out, which truly could just me being a cynical, jaded bitch who is very used to people just posting shit like this on YouTube for sympathy and just brownie points at this point. I just think that this is super out of place given the fact that you're trying to come off as remorseful for promoting zoophilia and normalizing, being into kids. Apparently, it was extremely easy to tell I'm a struggling person inside. Something about constantly feeding on tons of information, overanalyzing, putting what seems like the weight of the world on my shoulders, extreme levels of stress, living a bit in darkness and bringing light to issues people don't like. What issues did you bring to light that people don't like, Sappho? Because if I remember correctly, for the last few months you've been advocating for, zoophilia to be seen as normal, and recently came out as a minor attracted person. That's not bringing to light issues that people don't like, Sappho. That's trying to normalize bestiality and say that pedos should have normalized and readily available access to children. With the context of everything that she said, that reads as if she still thinks that she's justified in everything she said and done. Not really bringing any issues to light that people don't like Sappho. This entire thing is a bitch of a situation and indicates to me that while I do think people should be hopeful in Sappho getting the serious help they need, truly here's hoping that Sappho's getting the intense psychiatric help they need because they were self-admitted to having an attraction to both minors and animals. Just don't hold your breath thinking that this is going to be some sort of Hypnotist Sappho Redemption Arc, because people with that kind of interest don't change overnight, as they've said themselves. A lot of the comments in the community tab post are just being overwhelmingly supportive of this whole situation, and while that's great, personally, weird choice after everything, but okay. Just don't immediately assume the best is all I'm saying. Basically, when it comes to Hypnotist Sappho, they've admitted to being into some pretty serious shit that isn't going to be fixed overnight. By all means, seriously, here's hoping that they are getting the help that they need, but I don't see how people can see this as a redemption arc for them in any way. Especially with the last bit from their community tab post that kind of just props themselves up for doing nothing wrong in a sense, despite them for the last few months trying to normalize the shit out of zoophilia as well as coming out as a pedophile. Getting treatment is an absolute step forward, nobody is denying that. But until you see actual change, steps that are just beyond deleting videos and actually condemning the things that they have said, I genuinely don't think this is going to be the last time we hear about Hypnotist Sappho. It's just a matter of when the next whack thing's going to come out of her mouth. But that's just my thoughts on this situation. And that's what's going to do it for what I can only hope is going to be the last ever video I make on Hypnotist Sappho. Feel free to leave a comment down below with your thoughts on this situation, because truly, it's an internet Reddit nightmare, or just a nice comment about something cool or something else I should talk about that's not fucked up. While you're down there, leave a like down below as well to feed the algorithm gods, because God knows this video's gonna need it given its subject matter. And while you're down there, might as well subscribe because it's 2022 and I have a lot of content planned for the next couple of months. Some of it being on just as depraved people, some being actual brain bleaches of videos. But until that next video comes out, I'm going to go touch some snow-covered grass to hopefully cleanse my brain, because I didn't get to do a brain bleach video because my fucking Final Cut Pro wouldn't let me edit it. Y'all should do the same. So until then, I'll see you guys later. Bye. I can't even get to the grass to touch it, but that didn't help.